we're going live. Good morning, brothers and sisters. Welcome to Morning Hundoke. Welcome to Morning Hundoke. To start off, let's offer a greeting about our heavenly parents and true parents. 천지인 참부모님께 경배. 바로. Today we will read Family Pledge number 4. 하고 하늘 부모님의 창조 이상인 전주대 가정을 형성하여 자유와 평화와 통일과 행복의 세계를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 4. Our family, the owner of Chonoguk, pledges to build a universal family encompassing heaven and earth, which is the heavenly parent's ideal of creation, and perfect the world of freedom, peace, unity, and happiness by centering on true love. And to open us up in prayer today, I'd like to ask Anna Eva Clark, do you mind opening us up in prayer?
Please join me in prayer. Good morning, Heavenly Parent. It's really such a blessing to be here together in Morning Hundoke, to be able to connect with you each and every day, to have brothers and sisters to share with. It's so encouraging to have brothers and sisters. It's really even showing up and trying our best and trying to succeed in the roles and responsibility that our true mother is hoping that we can fulfill. It's really encouraging to see, and I'm so grateful for everyone on this call, and I'm so grateful that we can do this and that we can still do our breakouts and really share and stay connected in heart. It's really like the song says, strong bonds of heart is the force. And we want to maintain those strong bonds of heart, not just in our relationship with you, but horizontally and as brothers and sisters as well. And that's always been the challenge. When we read the divine principle, it's easier to complete the foundation of faith than the foundation of substance. And I really pray that we can be that church that our true mother is hoping for, full of spirit and truth. We're so grateful for our true parents. We're so grateful for all the figures and people of faith and conscience throughout history who've tried their very best. This morning I was reading about Moses in the divine principle, and I was so touched by his effort and his, we sometimes when we read the divine principle, we kind of, they should have done this, they should have done that, but really in real time, that effort of another 40 years and another 40 years. And so we're really grateful for the central figures of history, and of course our true parents also, a lifetime of just keeping going. And I pray, Heavenly Parent, that at this time all of true parents' effort can bear fruit, and all the efforts of the historical figures can bear fruit as we finally unite and break through and can witness and share and bless throughout the world. Please guide us throughout this Morning Hundoke, and let's have a wonderful and victorious day. I offer this prayer in the name of Roy and Eva Clark, a blessed central family. Adieu.
Adieu. Adieu. Thank you. Thank you, Anna Eva, for opening us up with such a beautiful, powerful prayer. And with that, we're going to go into our breakouts now. So just take a moment to think about what you're grateful for this morning. Anything you're grateful for, share with whoever you're paired up with, had a chance to possibly bring in joy to their day, and we'll be back here to share with everyone else. See you all soon. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Hope you all had a wonderful sharing in your breakouts. I was with Pastor Barbara and the Lalonde family. I'd like to first invite up Pastor Barbara, if you could please unmute, share with us your gratitude points this morning.
Good morning. This morning I was just sharing how grateful I am to my UTS community for, they really have such beautiful hearts. And I'm so grateful that we've been able to be on this beautiful property for such a long time. And really grateful to Resfred and Pastor Naokimi and all the second gen who really rallied to try to save the property. So, really feeling, there's so much love, and I'm just really appreciating that. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor Barbara. Thank you. I'd like to next call on the Lalonde family. If you please unmute and share with us your gratitudes as well.
Good morning. My appreciation was just that yesterday we had our DP study last night. So it's just always a fun time and a really good time, just because you really feel God a little bit extra that day, just because we have lots of unity, lots of laughter, and obviously we study God's word. So it's always a good time, and I always appreciate my parents putting that on for us.
My appreciation is just my family. Just we try our best each week to have a FaceTime call just to catch up, and me and my sister always try to have that individual FaceTime call just to have our checkups that we normally had when she was here. But now that she's always back on her missionary work, that she'll be back soon, and can't wait to see them both. So that's appreciation.
Yeah, I was sharing with Resford in the breakout room. My appreciation is to be able to continue morning devotion, but we call it morning hundoke. But I am, to be able to continue the Zoom and to meet people that we've met before. I know that Dr. Young has set the standard really high, but I feel very confident that we will reach that standard and more with our second gen and our brothers and sisters. It's almost like the formation stage where we're in the midst of trying to figure out what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. But I'm 110% supporting, and I want. It's nice that we can still get up in the morning. For me, it's a little bit short, but it's okay. My kids. It's nice for my kids. They like the short part, so that's okay. So if I don't want it short, I usually get up early in the morning anyways and do my own hundoke. So it's nice. But Resford and Gatsu and everybody that's trying to make this special, you are doing a very fine job, and we, the Lalonde family, really appreciate it. We're on our way to UTS next week to get our other two daughters and support them, and I'm so excited for that. We were going to fly down, but it's too expensive, so we're going to drive down. So we have lots of give and take on the way back. So that's my appreciation.
Okay, so my appreciation is for meeting Resfred in youth, because I've been longing for to meet him in person. Thanks God for we met him in Korea, and then because he's one of my favorite MC, and Yasu as well there is watching, and I met them in Korea. We met them in on top of the going to the blessing, and Resfred is really amazing. I met him because every time I see him in a morning devotion, is always happy and give hope and inspiration to all second generation. And I met him in also with his beautiful wife. So that's my appreciation. So thank you.
You flatter. Thank you, Lalonde family, for your gratitude this morning. We're going to go on to our morning hundoke. Once again, continuing on with the Mother of Peace. So let us open our hearts and mind to be able to listen and receive inspiration from our true Mother.
Welcome to Mother of Peace, and God shall wipe away All Tears from Their Eyes, a memoir by Hak Jahan Moon, a production of the Washington Times Global Media Group, narrated by Allison Hiroto. South Korea was a strange place to us. Having never been to Seoul, we had no idea how we could survive. And we were getting lost constantly. We also had lost the moorings of our faith. The hope to meet the returning Lord was indeed floating in the clouds. We had no money and no skills by which to make a living. We camped in a shabby, empty house and barely made it through each day. All we could do was talk to people. Our most urgent task was to find my maternal uncle, Sun Jong. He was the only person we could depend on in South Korea, and we were hoping he was somewhere in Seoul. My mother pleaded in prayer, "What should I do to find my younger brother?" She prayed most earnestly every day to find her brother on whom she could rely. We devoted ourselves to this search by visiting clinics and pharmacies. Then, we received an unexpected blessing from God. We met a man on the street who turned out to be a friend of my uncle's. This was indeed God's providential help. His friend told us that Uncle Sun Jong was serving at the Army headquarters in Seoul's Yongsan district. After returning from Japan, he had graduated from the College of Pharmacy in Seoul and then received training as a pharmaceutical officer in the Korean Military Academy. He was currently serving as a first lieutenant. This kind man took us to Yongsan, and what a reunion it was. Sun Jong was delighted to see his mother, sister, and niece. He had no idea of the conditions in the north and was so distressed to hear of what we had gone through to get to Seoul. He immediately rented a small room for us in Gyeongchang-dong. Our life in the south soon stabilized. I entered Hyochang Primary School and, in the free land of South Korea, began going to school for the first time. I loved going to school with my bag of books every day. The older residents of the neighborhood would pat me on the head, and the neighborhood children also liked me very much. Looking back, I find it interesting that our rented room was close to Chongpa-dong, the neighborhood in which, 7 years later, we would end our search for the Lord at the Second Advent. Until that day arrived, however, we endured many twists and turns on our odyssey. While at Hyocheon-dong, we heard the news that Jong Suk-chung, the eldest son of the founder of the Holy Lord Church, had settled in South Korea. We took it as a miracle and prayed that God would guide us to meet him. All in all, we praised God that my uncle was serving as an army officer and that Jong Suk-chung's family from the Holy Lord Church had come to the south. Without doubt, our heavenly parent prepared a path to protect the one called to serve humankind as the only begotten daughter, the one to whom he would entrust the providence. Now that our physical pilgrimage had reached an oasis, it was time to renew our spiritual pilgrimage. A blue flash of death. It was early on a hot summer morning. Red balsam flowers blossomed on one side of our courtyard, and thick, old willow and sycamore trees stood along the street. I was 7 years old, but I remember the moment clearly as a frantic neighbor burst into our living room with the words, "War has broken out. The North Korean army has crossed the 38th parallel." Apprehensive residents gathered in the alley in groups of 2 and 3. I had been getting used to settled life in the South, but when the North Korean People's Army launched their invasion, our short respite was over. Everyone was frightened. Government reports mingled with rumors, and no one knew for sure what was going on. What happened was that the South Korean interim government packed up and moved to the city of Daejeon, 90 miles to the south of Seoul. the government ordered the South Korean army to blow up the Han River Bridge, the only bridge across the Han River on the south side of Seoul. They expected North Korean troops to arrive in Seoul soon, and they had no means to protect the city. Their strategy was to prevent the Communist army from crossing the river. They could do little or nothing to help the city's residents, who were crying out for Seoul's defense. 2 days later, my mother woke up at dawn and began packing our clothes in a bundle. Awakened by the rustling noise, I kept my eyes shut and listened to her conversation with my grandmother. "We have to seek refuge," my mother said. "After the communists get here, they'll kill us." "I know they are bad," my grandmother responded. "But do you think they would treat women harshly?" "If they find out we have escaped from the north," my mother reasoned, "they probably will kill us on the spot." On the evening of June 27th, 1950, 2 days after the start of the Korean War, Seoul residents streamed out of the city's ancient neighborhoods under a gentle summer rain. The more they realized that they were not the only ones seeking to escape and that they all had to cross the same bridge, the more serious and desperate they became. This was war. My grandmother, mother, and I joined the exodus with our bundle, following the throng moving toward the Han River Bridge. When its dim shape appeared in the dark, something told me to stop, and I grabbed my grandmother's skirt. She stopped in her tracks, and my mother turned and asked her, "Mother, what's wrong?" Grandmother looked up at the sky and then glanced down at me. Then she turned her head again in the direction of our house. "Soon Jong may come," she said with a steady tone, speaking of her son, my uncle. It seemed senseless to turn around when everyone else was fleeing the city, but she was firm. "Let's go back in case he does." My mother understood. The 3 of us made our way back home, fighting the crowds. When we got home, I spread out my blanket and lay down to sleep. But it was not long before I was awakened by the noise of a 3/4-ton truck. Its headlights illuminated our room as the door suddenly burst open. There was my uncle in his military uniform. My grandmother and mother gasped sighs of relief and hope. I thought to myself, "We can leave now," and felt at ease. "Hurry," he barked. "We have to move now." Uncle Soon Jong, based in the Army headquarters as a military medic, was aware of the progress of the war. As soon as he heard that the South Korean Army was preparing to destroy the Han River Bridge, he requisitioned a truck and sped to our home, knowing his family was in danger. He had left the truck with its engine running in our foggy alley. We climbed in with our already packed bundle, and he drove toward the bridge. In the pre-dawn hours, crowds of refugees were swarming there from all directions, creating total chaos. We moved forward at a snail's pace on the congested street. As an army officer, my uncle had the official pass necessary to take a vehicle across the bridge. Honking the horn, he inched the truck through the crowd. Held in my mother's arms, I clung to her and gazed at the people fleeing their homes, their fear and confusion increasing by the minute. As soon as we had crossed the bridge, my uncle shouted, "Get down in your seats!" As I squeezed down on the floor at my mother's feet, a huge explosion behind us shook our truck. There was a blue flash and a deafening sound. My uncle set the emergency brake and turned off the engine. Together we jumped out of the truck and clambered down into the ditch at the side of the road. I turned my face to the bridge and witnessed the next explosion. I saw a light, like a demon's burning eyes piercing the night. Countless civilians, as well as soldiers and policemen who were crossing the bridge, were thrown about like plastic toys, flying everywhere, cast into the river below. For us, a few meters proved to be the difference between life and death. Our lives had been spared. I closed my eyes, and many thoughts flashed across my mind. Why would anyone start a war? Why did innocent people have to die? Why is God permitting such pain and suffering? Who can bring an end to this madness? I could not conceive of any answers. When I reopened my eyes, I saw that the bridge was cut in half. The military had accomplished its mission at the cost of hundreds of lives. What remained amid the corpses, the screaming wounded, and the dazed survivors was an ugly skeleton of steel, smoldering in the dark.
Thank you for listening to Godable. Visit motherofpeacebook.com to purchase the complete audiobook. Godable is made possible by listeners like you. To donate, visit godable.org. Thank you.
Okay, so that was today's Hundoke. And to share a brief reflection on it, I'd like to call on Assistant Pastor Atushi Takino.
Good morning. Good morning, brothers and sisters. The Pastor Naokimi, when we start our local Hundoke, Pastor Naokimi suggested that let's rotate the pastor's team every 8 days, then sharing testimonies or reflection. So that's why I'm leading these 8 days, my sharing reflection, 5 minutes, but even 5 minutes, I pray God, what point I like to share next day. So God, I got an inspiration from God every day, and today I got the inspiration sharing how God is working with us or protecting us. God is living God and listening our prayer. So today I like to share. Today I like to share here. This is Korea, North and South Korea. And you see here the Pyongyang, and this is Anju. Anju is a true mother was born, and the Cheonju is a true father was born. And Anju, in the Anju. So when true mother was born, her father, Han Song-un, had dream like vision. He saw bright sunlight beam into thick grove of pine trees. The light fell on 2 cranes that were dancing together. He decided to name her daughter Hakcha, which means crane child. And later on, when true father chose his bride, one of the elder sister, Mrs. O, had dream of crane, and she told true father, bride name includes Hak, means crane. She also received a revelation because Eve fell when she was 16 years old. The heavenly bride needs to be younger than 20. That is the first revelation to the first story I like to share. Because father decide the name crane, and because the true mother's age younger than 20, that is actually the true father, part of the true father can choose true mother as his bride. True mother said that to recognize the bride was Father Moon's mission and responsibility. Even they knew they are begotten, true mother is a begotten daughter, but she cannot sharing about that to the true father. And this is a Hunnam here, and they go to the Pyongyang, and across the 38 parallel to the Seoul here. And the true demonym also received the revelation. If your baby is a boy, he will become the king of the universe. If a girl, she will become the queen of the universe. Like Mary, the Jesus mother. And she decided, I become like a nanny. And I will take care of my daughter as a daughter, begotten daughter of God. That's similar like Moses' mother. So that's also God is working with them. And the story continue in the Seoul. This is a Seoul, and this is a Hangan River. So Hangan River actually divided the Seoul to North Seoul and the South Seoul. And when they moved from Pyongyang to North Korea, army soldiers were blocking the 38 parallel, and they captured them. Young true mother took food to the soldiers standing watch. Those soldiers set them free, and they met young man at that time. He guided them across the 38 parallel. When they crossed 38 parallel, young true mother sang a song from the southern part of Korea. South Korean soldiers also were keeping a straight watch. If they didn't hear young true mother sang the South Korean song, differently they shoot them. God protect them again. And when they reach to the South Korea, they are looking for the uncle, true mother's uncle, but they have no idea how to find him. But again, they pray, and they met her uncle's friend on the street. Then they could meet him later. Then later, this uncle saved their life. When they heard the North Korean People's Army launched their invasion, they tried to escape from Seoul across the bridge of the Han River. Many people had to cross the Han Bridge. They had to move forward very slow because too many people. Then true mother stopped to walk and stopped them. Oh, actually, I can share other things. This is a Han River bridge. So grandmother stopped them. So grandmother said her son Sunjun, true mother's uncle, may come. Uncle Sunjun came to rescue them by truck. He was South Korean military medic. When he heard that the South Korean army was preparing to destroy the Han River bridge, he got truck and drove to rescue them. Because he was army officer, he had the official pass to take a vehicle the bridge. They could cross the bridge. As soon as they crossed the bridge was blew up by South Korean army. True mother said a light like demons burning eyes passing that night. Many people died by explosion. A few meters had measured that distance between life and death. Many critical moments in North and South Korea, God guided them, protect them from danger. So how God is living God, and that God, Heavenly Parents, not only true parents, not only true parents supporting, also God is living with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pastor Kino. That was a pretty cool picture. Thanks for sharing. I mean, not cool, but that was a picture I haven't seen before. Thank you for sharing that with us. Now we're gonna go into our breakouts now. So just take a moment to think and digest everything that was said on today's Hundoke and share with whoever you're paired up with. We'll see you all soon. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Hope you had a wonderful sharing in your breakout. I'd like to call on Michiko Presky. Michiko Presky, if you could please unmute and share with us your reflection from today's morning devotion.
Yes, and good morning, everyone. This is my first time to sharing with in the morning fundoke morning devotion, and share today's is true mothers really life. This and true mothers everything explanation is like really visible. I can see with that moment with true mother, I can feel that kind of clear explanation is amazing. She saw in the nature, walking the nature, and look like really in the picture book and living. That's kind of I can feel. And this time also, Hangan River, the booming, and like watching the movie, and also Satan and God and Satan battle. I can see, and really, and that's kind of fighting with Satan and God battle is also in my life, is also fighting God and Satan fighting also. And so that's kind of God is working. God is working for everyone, each person. And so I really felt every moment God and Satan's battle in my life. And so small victories I share with this time is I didn't care, because if I complain, that's the right things, but shouldn't complain, perseverance. And I bought some pants and in thrift store, and I had to fix a lot. And oh my gosh, I should complain this. This is almost new, but need a lot to fix. And I want to retire just $7, but I just fixed it and finished. So I didn't complain, and I fixed it. And that is, I feel I didn't complain, so I won battle with Satan. That small things is always hard to win, and I can overcome for point to God, good point to God. And so every day I had to think small things with battle, and with picking also I can win, and even without give up. That's I want to inherit from true mother. Thank you.
Thank you, Michiko-san. Thank you. And now, announcement. If you'd like to offer opening prayer or the living testimony or musical offering, feel free to reach out to Yasutaka. Yasutaka, he'll put his email in the chat. So that's going to be on Anchio, but every day we have opening prayer, so feel free to reach out to him as well. Also, it looks like there's a fundraiser going on for Tanzania by Apostle Glenda. So link is in the chat as well if you'd like to support that. And with that, we're going to go on to our closing prayer. Can I ask Irina and Tamak, do you mind closing us out in prayer?
Yes, please join me in prayer. Dear Heavenly Parents, we are so deeply grateful for your grace and your always love and guiding us to understand our two mothers' essence. We are so grateful to learn, to relearn, and always to keep learning two mothers' life course and the journey that they went through. So much difficulties, but again, always guiding them through your guidance, and parent, lead them to the right places, to the right people, in the right time. Heavenly Parent, we pray that we can really inherit that dedication through Testimonies and their absolute sincerity to find true mother, to find true father. Pray, Heavenly Parent, that we can also inherit a yearning heart to really to connect to true mother. And through that, we pray that we can truly have truth and spirit in everything that we do, and especially to inherit our true mother's heart and desire to bring joy to our Heavenly Parent and to connect all your children to your blood lineage. We pray, Heavenly Parent, with absolute sincerity as a community, as all your children, that we can come to attend you and to really be your true representative to all those that are still yearning and looking for you. Heavenly Parent, we thank you and we are grateful. Please, we pray to offer you this moment, this day, together with all brothers and sisters in this morning, Honda Care, and all those may be reading and listening through the recordings. We thank you and we pray, offering you all this through my name, and the entire blessing to family. Adieu.
Jew. Thank you, Irina, for such a beautiful prayer. And thank you all for joining us for Morning Kundoke today. Today is day 4, represents day 4. It is the day in which the sun, the moon, and the stars were revealed in the sky. So, yep, feel free to share an appreciation for all the luminary bodies in the sky that keep us alive, keep us moving, and keeps the days going. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. We'll see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thank
See
you,
you, Christopher
everyone.
Bush.
Happy
Bye now.
birthday.
Bye-bye.
Birthday.
Bye-bye.